Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. Our guest is Assemblymember Anthony Portantino, who represents the 44th District. He serves as a member of the Committee on Governmental Organization. He joins us to talk about the scandal in the city of Bell and the importance of government accountability. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Thanks, Tracy.
When the news kind of first broke about the city of Bell, what went through your mind? What were you thinking? Were you surprised?
Well, first of all, as a former small-town mayor and council member, you know, I'm pleased to have a good record and that my city that I came from has never been rocked with one of these scandals and manages it well and shepherds the public's trust. But it also concerns me that when you do have something like this, it colors the whole system. It makes everybody, makes the public stand up and say, okay, what is everybody doing? And unfortunately, and rightly so, the media focuses on one of these scandals, and it highlights it for everybody. So,
is there a good side to that, though, when we learn something like this? Then maybe it engages the citizenry. Sometimes we become disengaged from whether it's the city, county, state, or federal government. Maybe this re-engages us and gets us involved again.
Absolutely, and holds elected representatives accountable. That's what this is all about, and I'm pleased that it's something that I've worked on. Accountability, transparency, reform or efforts that I've been pushing during my 4 years in the legislature. And obviously we know the legacy of Hector De La Torre, who came out of Southgate and has been a reformer for his 6 years in the legislature. And Hector again is proposing legislation to rein in the Bell-type scandals and make sure they don't happen again.
Yeah, he had a number of bills. He had 4 different bills. He's been a great friend of the show, and he had 4 separate bills that he passed through. And basically what he was trying to get at was that for your size of your city, there's a parameter that a city official could pay. They weren't setting up the exact number, but there was a parameter that he was trying to get at. So at least there's some accountability there.
These are part-time jobs.
Right.
These shouldn't be full-time
And generally speaking,
careers.
though, most people who sit on a city council, do they make or lose money based on what they're paid versus the time that they put in?
Well, most people who sit on a small-town city council shouldn't even be thinking about the financial reward.
Most of them tell me they make between like $400 to $600 a month, maybe $800 a month.
The city I came from, it was $300 a month.
Okay, there you go. And
you
I'm
were
sure
there,
you spent more than that
on
just whatever. Okay.
It was a labor of love.
Right.
You're there because you want to serve your community.
Right.
And that's what we have to make sure is front and center, that passionate people who care about their community and not their bottom line are making the decisions.
Serving.
And we also saw there were certain, city officials who were not elected who were getting $800,000 and $400,000.
Well, because they would say they would sit on different committees and they would be paid per committee and only meet for a moment. So speak for a moment, though. You actually introduced on the state level try some freezes that during these economic times say, look, we're making decent livings and we have jobs. Let's at least freeze our pay. I don't believe you were successful in that legislation passing.
No, I've actually introduced the salary freeze bill 6 times.
Thank you.
And it's been killed 6 times.
Because?
People don't get it that we're always squeezing the person making $20,000 a year. If you're making $150,000 or more on the state,
you were the high wage earner.
Absolutely, the people making over $150,000, they can certainly forego their raise and their bonus during this great fiscal time. And again, I'm pleased to have joined Hector as a co-author of his new legislation that's pending before the legislature to put controls on cities to make sure that there's not spiking of salaries to get extra benefits, that people, if they're not going to use good sense, we're going to make sure that they have accountability.
You have a constitutional amendment that you've actually instituted for PAYGO, and it's on the state level. So that's something else that I think you're trying to do on the state level, right?
And that basically says you can't spend what you don't have. Live within your means.
What a novel concept, sir.
Exactly. Something that millions of Californians do every day in their own lives. We in the legislature need to practice that as well.
And your response that you're receiving from your colleagues?
It's not been warm.
It's not been warm. Okay, so we're going to put that up there so people can take a look at that. Maybe they can make that a little warmer for you.
Absolutely. Please help.
All right. As always, pleasure to have you in the district with us. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
For Charter Local Edition, I'm Tracy Young.